Welcome to another video. My name is Ronald Beckford, and in today's video we will learn to factorize a quadratic expression, or otherwise called a trinomial. So how do we go about factorizing a quadratic expression? Before we do that, we have to understand what is a quadratic expression. Now, a quadratic expression is written in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c, where a, b, and c are elements of the real numbers. Okay, now it's also the fact that the x squared value is the highest power of x within the expression, so therefore it is a quadratic expression. And a is equal to the coefficient of x squared, b is the coefficient of x, and c is equal to the constant. So how do we go about factorizing a quadratic expression? First, we want to identify what the values of a, b, and c are. So that's the first step. Then step 2, we are going to multiply a times c, and at the same time find two numbers that will add to give b. So therefore so whatever those factors are, they must multiply to give ac, and at the same time they must be added. They must be able to be added to give what the value of b is. So those two conditions must be satisfied. And having found those two factors, we are going to replace b with those two factors. And so we are going to have 4 parts to this quadratic expression now, and then we are going to factorize by grouping. So there are some things that we need to remember whenever we are doing this. When we multiply a times c, we get a positive number, then what it simply means that both factors will have the same sign. Either both will be positive or both will be negative, and they will have the sign of b. So whatever the sign of b is, that is what the sign of the factors will be. In addition to that now, and secondly, if ac is negative, one of the factor will be positive and the other negative. So let's try an example. So here we are told to factorize 3x squared plus 10x plus 8. Again, for step 1. Step 1. What are we going to do in step 1? We are going to, 1, identify a, b, and c. So in this case, a is equal to 3, b is equal to 10, and c is equal to 8. Having found those values, right? Step 2, what are we going to do? Find the product of a and c. So therefore we're going to multiply 3 times 8, 3 times 8, and that will give us 24. Now what do we want to do? We want to find the sum of b. So that means we want to find two numbers that will multiply to give you 24, and at the same time they must be added to give 10. So basically, so what are those two numbers? We can say 1 times 24 will give us 24. But 1 plus 24 is not equal to 10. So hence these two factors will not work. So we want to try another two factor. 2 times 12 will give us 24. 2 plus 12 is not equal to 10. Hence again, these two factors won't work. So we have 6 times 4 will give us 24, and 6 plus 4 will be equal to 10. So here we have two factors that have satisfied both conditions. So what we are going to now do, we are going to replace the coefficient of b with the factors that we found here. So we have 3x squared plus 6x plus 4x plus 8. Now, so if you see these two, 6 plus 4 is equal to 10. So and b is equal to 10. So what we are now going to do, we are going to factorize. Take these two, group these two, factorize them, and group the 4x plus 8 and factorize them as well. So for this first section, we're going to see what is common here. What's the highest common factor here? So we have 3 is able to be divided into itself, and 3 is also able to be divided into 6. So we know that 3 is part of the HCF. So 3, and since we have x squared and x, so we know that x is also part of the HCF. So what we are now going to do, we are going to divide each term by 3x. So 3x squared divided by 3x is the same as saying 3 times x divided by 3x. And so x will cancel x and 3 will cancel itself. So we are left with what? X. So we have x here. And 6x divided by 3x will give us 2 plus 4. So we are finished with this first 2 elements. So we're going to look at the next 2 elements. So we have a 4 here and we have 8 here. So we now realize that 4 is common. So 4 and 4 into 4x will go x times, and 8 divided by 4 will give us 2. And I hope you have noticed that these two brackets are the same. So having seen these two brackets are the same, we are going to take this 4 and this 3x, because 3x is multiplied by x plus 2, while 4 is also multiplied by x plus 2. So therefore we can say 3x plus 4 is multiplied by x plus 2, and hence this is a factorized version of 3x squared plus 10x plus 8. So if we were to expand the bracket, then we would have got back the same thing, and that is how we go about factorizing a quadratic expression. Now let's try another example. Factorize 2x squared plus x minus 15. Again, if we are to factorize this, the first thing that we are going to do, again, is to identify our a, b, and c. So a in this case is the coefficient of x squared, which is equal to 2. B is equal to the coefficient of x, which is equal to 1, and c is equal to the constant, which is equal to negative 15. Step 2. Step 2, we are going to find the product of AC. So a times c is equal to 2 times negative 15, and that is equal to negative 30. B, our sum B, is equal to 1. So what we want to do here, we want to find two factors that will multiply to give negative 30, and at the same time they must be added to get 1. Again, earlier we said that whenever the factors of AC, whenever the product of AC is negative, then it means that one of the factors will be positive and the other negative. So let's try to find the factors. So let's go. 1 times a negative 30 will give us negative 30. But 1 plus a negative 30 is not equal to 1. So hence these two factors cannot be used. Hence what we would have to do is to continue to use trial and error until we get the two factors that will multiply to give negative 30, and then we add them up, we get positive 1. So let's try. 6 times negative 5 is equal to negative 30. And 6 plus a negative 5 is equal to positive 1. Hence, those two conditions are satisfied. And since those two conditions are satisfied, then those are the factors that we are looking for. Having found those factors, we are now going to replace b with those two factors. So we have 2x squared plus 6x minus 5x minus 15. Again, so what we want to do, we want to group these two. So we're going to group those two first terms and then those two last terms. Now we want to see what is common between these two first terms. So we want to find the HCF, the highest common factor between these two first terms. What are we going to do? So we see that 2 can be divided into itself and 2 can be divided into 6. So therefore 2 is a part of the HCF. And then we see x squared and x, so therefore x is a part of the HCF as well. So we have 2x squared divided by 2x. So what are we going to have? 2 times x divided by 2x. And then x will cancel x. 2 into 2, 1, 2 into 2, 1. So therefore we are left with x. So we are left with x here. And then 6x divided by 2x. X will cancel x. 2 into 6 will go 3 times. So we are left with plus 3. And again, remember, whatever is written in the first bracket must also be written in the second bracket. So let's see what is common between negative 5x and negative 15. 5 can go into itself, and therefore 5 can also go into 15. Okay, so therefore negative 5x divided by 5, negative 5 will cancel negative 5, so hence we are left with x. And then negative 15 divided by a negative 5 will give us a positive 3, because again a negative divided by a negative will give us positive. And also we must also remember that these two brackets ought to be the same as well. So hence we are going to take this 2x, which is multiplied by x plus 3, and negative 5, which is also multiplied by x plus 3, and then we are going to group them. And so we say 2x minus 5 bracket, and then we have x plus 3. So therefore 2x minus 5 is multiplied by x plus 3. And hence here what we have done is that we have factorized 2x squared plus x minus 15. Again, so once you are able to apply this basic concept, then you will be able to factorize all quadratic expressions as long as they are able to be factorized, because not all quadratic expressions can be factorized. Okay, so again, if you have learned something here, please share, like, and subscribe to this channel so that you can get notification, and turn on that notification button so you can get stop Ronald, stop.